Defenders are here! Or at least they will be in about another 20 minutes. Either way, I'm going to binge the season and review it. I'm going to watch 2 episodes, record my thoughts, and then repeat until we get through all 8 episodes. And yes, I will be discussing plot points, so spoilers ahead. Also, just to provide some context, here's what I thought of all of the Defenders shows so far. It's time for the mini-series 2.5 years in the making. Let's jump right into episodes 1 and 2 of The Defenders. Alright, the show opens on Danny Rand. Ugh, okay, fine, not the best start. The theme to The Defenders is okay. I mean, it sounds suitably epic, but not very memorable. This first episode is a whole lot of setup, taking the chess pieces from this still very scattered New York City chessboard that Marvel has laid out on Netflix, and rearranging the pieces. We get some shows crossing paths. We get Foggy very early on getting Luke Cage out of jail. By the way, wasted plot point. Season 1 of Luke Cage ends with Luke Cage going to jail. That could have been a really interesting plot for season 2 of that show, but now there was no point in him going to jail in the first place, just a random nitpick. We meet Alexandra, the new villain played by Sigourney Weaver, a sci-fi legend. The show establishes her bona fides early by pairing her up with Madame Gao, who we've seen all the way dating back to Daredevil's first episode. The show immediately establishes that her character is dying, at least her physical body is dying. Of course, she is with the Hand, an organization well known at this point for bringing people back to life. I'm very interested to see what her character's plans are for New York City, what she wants to accomplish before her death, or is she not immortal? It appears she's immortal. After all, she talks to Gao as if they're equals, or at least she's even superior to Gao, and we know Gao's immortal. My point is, Sigourney Weaver causes an earthquake, and that's pretty badass. Moving on to episode 2, everyone's paths are crossing at this point. I especially love the interaction between Jessica Jones, a woman who gives no shits, and Misty Knight, a woman who takes no shit. Their dialogue was beautiful. Iron Fist spent these 2 episodes killing time up until Luke Cage came right along and gave Iron Fist the smacking around we all really wanted to give him after 13 episodes of his show. On the Daredevil front, everything seems really candid between Matt and Karen and Matt and Foggy. Last I remember, at the end of season 2, there were some pretty big rifts that had formed between the 3 of them. So to just see everything, I get that time heals all wounds, but from a narrative standpoint, I was expecting some ripples. So 2 episodes in, The Defenders is off to a solid but not yet groundbreaking start. It's, again, a lot of setup and moving of chess pieces to arrange for what I'm sure will be an action-fueled final 2/3 of the season. Anyways, let's move on to episodes 3 and 4. Or I might take a nap first. Episode 3 opens up with a 13-minute look at Elektra's rebirth at the Hand. To my knowledge, this is the first actual look at the use of mysticism by the Hand within the show, within actually the Netflix Marvel shows, because so far we've just been told about what the Hand can do, but this is really the first time we look at them actually bringing someone back to life. So Luke squabbles with Danny, and Jessica puts her detective skills to good use on Matt, and eventually everyone meets up at Midland Circle. The fight itself at Midland Circle was nothing too awe-inspiring. There were a couple egregious edits that ticked me off, and we saw all the best moments in the several trailers for this show. Although I will say the fight choreography for Iron Fist's solo outing against the Hand was much better than any of the fight choreography from the Iron Fist show earlier this year. Episode 4 is, I guess, the bottle episode of the season, which sees our 4 main characters trapped at a Chinese restaurant for basically the duration of the episode. Jessica slips out at some point, but then is back by the end. After our 4 defenders are done getting a good idea of each other, Stick comes in for a giant exposition dump. I do want to point out that these 2 episodes really have only the core main characters. None of the ancillary characters who were popping up in the first 2 episodes are here now. It's just all the power players. My favorite line from the season so far, from Jessica to Danny, what are you, on lithium? Great line, great delivery, Kristen Ritter. Jessica Jones was the defender that we haven't seen pretty much for the longest amount of time. Hers was the second show, but Daredevil got a second season. So, point is, having Kristen Ritter back on a semi-regular basis is fantastic to behold, and I cannot wait for Jessica Jones Season 2 next year. Alexandra shows up at the end of the episode to try to recruit Danny to her side, although the whole 8-minute sequence really feels like killing time, since the episode ends without a fight sequence. In fact, the episode ends with the 4 defenders and Scott Glenn preparing to take on a fight, but I guess we'll have to wait till episode 5 for that. Well, it's not much waiting, I just gotta click a button. So let's move on to episodes 5 and 6. 2 more down and just 2 episodes to go. Episode 5 starts off with a fight scene that really should have been at the end of the last episode, but that's just nitpicking. As a whole, the action in The Defenders is lacking the kind of brutality that I've come to expect from the Netflix Marvel shows. That said, the novelty of watching Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage team up is still very present. Also, I love how everyone continues to shit all over Iron Fist. I'd say he's serving the penance here for his lackluster show. Bakudo is back and the hand is assembled. Bakudo, I think, was actually one of the stronger elements of the final third of Iron Fist, because at that point, I mean, any incoming element can only look better in comparison to Finn Jones's performance. Now, the big picture is slowly but surely coming together. The main villain, Alexandra, her goal is a very simple one compared to the ambitions of, let's say, Cottonmouth or Wilson Fisk. She just wants to stay alive, to which I say, you shouldn't have wasted all of your elixir on Harold Meacham. Moving on to episode 6, Elektra having a flashback while sleeping in Matt's bed. Her memory's coming back very quickly. This is only the beginning of episode 5, and yet it was shown very early on with her fight with Matt in episode 3 that yes, she's going to remember who she really is. The audience knows going in that, yeah, at some point Elektra will remember, so kudos on the Defenders for not dragging that plot point out, although I guess that is the entire point of having only 8 episodes, is that you cannot draw things out. So by the end of this episode, Elektra is pretty much fully back. I'll get to the end of the episode in a moment, though. Everyone continues to treat Danny like a child. That's a plus in my book. This episode has a lot of killing time up until the final 20 minutes when Stick betrays Luke Cage and Danny Rand and tries to kill Danny, which, yeah, I like that turn of events. Stick has always been a wild card, continues to play that role here. Elektra comes in, possibly kills Stick. I was a bit uncertain at the end if Stick actually died, but he's not looking well. Kidnaps Iron Fist, goes back to the Hand headquarters, and here is where I'm not so happy. Elektra seemingly kills Alexandra. True, to assume Alexandra is dead right now in this show is a bit, I think, of a jump. I do hope that her character's story is not over, because Sigourney Weaver's been killing it with her performance, and there is clearly more story to be told with this character. If Alexandra is dead, I will be deeply disappointed, because just like I guess how Cottonmouth was offed after 7 episodes in Luke Cage, you're taking one of the greatest elements of your show and just throwing it aside for shock value. More to the point, if Alexandra is dead, it makes me wonder, where is this all going? Okay, so Elektra is now taken over the Hand, and the Hand wants to get to Kunlun, and they have their key to get to Kunlun and Danny, and maybe that hole underneath their building is a gateway to Kunlun. That's what I'm guessing is being set up here, but if Alexandra is not the main plot driver moving forward, it's not gonna reflect well on my overall thoughts of the show. But we still have 2 episodes to go. I'm not gonna prejudge the show. Let's see how The Defenders wraps up. What was the point of any of this? You'd think cutting this season down to 8 episodes instead of 13, the writers would have enough story to fill all 8, but apparently they only had enough story for 6 episodes, and these last 2 are meandering nonsense. Alright, let's talk about the final 2 episodes of The Defenders. Hint, hint, I didn't like them. At all. Episode 7 is almost entirely filler, just getting all the characters back once again to Midland Circle, to the whole underground that we first saw in Daredevil a year and a half ago. The highlight of episode 7 was the fight at the end between Daredevil, Jessica, Luke, and Madame Gao, Bakudo, and the third guy. Seeing Madame Gao in action for the first time in the Marvel Netflix shows was a genuine delight. In fact, Madame Gao has been one of the highlights of the entire season. She's been getting more screen time here than I believe in Iron Fist or Daredevil Season 1. She's been in every episode. But that one good fight does not save the rest of the episode or the following more egregious episode. I don't want to get into the specifics of the finale because, to be honest, I can't remember what the specifics are. That's how generic these last 2 episodes were. The sum total of this show, of 8 episodes, 8 hours of television, is nothing. This has amounted to nothing from a storytelling perspective. We have not added anything new to the Netflix Marvel Universe, except, I guess, Misty lost an arm and Stick is dead. But otherwise, nothing has changed. Of course, Matt was not going to die. Elektra's fate unknown at the end, but of course, Matt was going to survive. I'm pretty sure a 3rd season of Daredevil has been confirmed. What was sold to us as the war for New York City amounted to bickering between an ex-boyfriend and girlfriend. No threat to New York City at all, really, despite being told time and time again that the city was at risk and thousands or millions of lives were at risk. None of that happened. None of that came close to happening. And what's the solution? Let's blow the building up, let it topple down, and it evens out, and life goes on. It's not really storytelling. That's not how you tell a story. I don't want to talk about these last 2 episodes. Let's just go to my season concluding thoughts. The Defenders was a hodgepodge of half-baked ideas supported by strong acting all around, including even Finn Jones. Mostly confident direction, some good action here and there, but overall a sense that the storytellers had no idea where this was going from the start. It seemed like the show was coasting on the novelty of seeing characters from 4 different shows interact and didn't have much to say or add to the discussion beyond that novelty. I feel particularly hurt by you bringing in the amazing Sigourney Weaver, giving her an interesting backstory, setting her up over 6 episodes, and then tossing her to the side. I think my favorite action sequence, I didn't talk about it in the 5 and 6 vlog, but the brawl between Danny and... I'm sorry, I'm very tired. I've been up watching this show for something hours now. The fight between Matt and Danny, that was pretty much the action highlight of the season. The show doesn't make a bad impression on me like Iron Fist did, because Iron Fist sucked. But at least Iron Fist made an impression on me. The Defenders just leaves me feeling meh, 8 episodes build up to nothing, and again, I enjoyed seeing these characters interact, but without a strong story to allow me to invest in these characters, I'm just feeling completely ambivalent, and that's probably the worst thing you could say. At least Iron Fist drew some ire out of me. I'd prefer drawing of ire than this generic monstrosity that we've been building towards for 2.5 years. I really wanted to enjoy this, and I was for the most part, but wow, those last 2 episodes just killed it for me. Before the last 2 episodes, I was saying C+, B- maybe, but I'm going to give The Defenders a C. Thanks for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I just crossed 5,000 subscribers. Thanks to everyone who has stuck with me through an admittedly slow 2017 so far. I promise more content is on the way. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. Let's have a conversation in the comments below. What did you think about the Defenders? And stay tuned for more here on TV Junkie.